So I've been asked a question about cleaning airbrushes. Well, let's just show you what I do. So first thing I want to do is just run a little bit of thinner through the brush. Then I'm going to put some airbrush cleaner through. Just wait for my compressor to stop. I'm now going to wash the paint cup whilst this sits here, and then we'll come back. Okay, the paint cup has been washed. We're putting that back in, and what we're going to do now is we're going to just run some ordinary water through the paint cup. So this is just tap water. And I'm going to do that 2 or 3 times. Okay, so now I'm going to drain my compressor so I can detach the airbrush. Now I have 2 airbrushes, so I have the compressor on, and then I always switch my compressor off and drain it. It's just a habit I'm in. I know some people leave them on. So I'm just going to drain the airbrushes. Okay, that's them drained. So if you've not got a quick release mechanism, I can't recommend them enough. It makes your job of changing out your airbrushes and your needles and cleaning so much easier. So now we've got the airbrush disconnected, what I want to do now is just make sure it's clean, because I'm not actually swapping colours now. If I was swapping colours, we'd just put some thinner through there and then put the new paint colour in, and you should be good to go. What we're going to do is we're going to just make sure that things are nice and clean for next time. So I'm disconnecting the paint cup, I'm undoing the airbrush at the back so we can get to the needle, and I'm loosening the needle. Now, one thing you never ever do under any circumstance is pull your needle out through the back, because you can drag paint through, and that makes this much more difficult to clean. The other thing you should never ever do, and I see lots of people doing it and it seems to be a bit of a fad at the moment, is never put your finger over that and back flush. Because what happens is people are doing it to mix paint, and I get that, but the chances of you getting paint into that chamber, which is much more difficult to clean, are quite high. In fact, when you buy one of these, this is an Evolution, they've designed the needle guard so that you cannot, see it has little holes in, it's designed so you cannot back flush it, and they say in the instructions explicitly, do not back flush, you will damage your airbrush. So we can remove that, and we can give that a quick run under the tap, but I've actually got no paint on there. I'm going to remove the whole front assembly, and we're going to run that under the tap, like so. And we've loosened the needle, we push the needle forward and pull it out, making sure we've gone nowhere near the tip. Okay, now you can see that the process we did of flushing it with a bit of thinner, then a bit of cleaner and a bit of water mainly cleaned it, but you can see there is still a little bit of witness of thinned paint there. So what I like to do is just put a little bit of airbrush cleaner on a cloth or whatever, and just drag my needle through it, which will take off any paint, And if you do it backwards, you're not going to cause any issues with your nib. And you can see there we've taken more paint off, even though it looked clean. So that's my needle clean. I'm just going to run this under the tap and make sure they're nice and clean, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've rinsed all my parts. I know everything's clean. What I can now do is just run this through the tap and run some water through the chamber, just making sure that there is no paint in the chamber that's going to dry onto the needle before we next use it. Right, so we're now ready to reassemble. And what we do is we take the needle first and we put the needle in backwards. Again, never ever thread it through the front. You're much more likely to damage, bend your needle point if you're trying to push it through, because it's got a number of different areas in there that it can potentially run into. So we're just going to put the needle in backwards, and then when it's pointing out of the back, we can just drag it into the chamber so it's out of the way. We then put the nozzle in and put the nozzle cap back on, like so. Finger tight is all you need. Then you can pull your needle forward until it stops and you can't push it forward any more further, and then you know it's all the way forward in the cap, and we tighten that up. And that's the best way of protecting your needle from damage. Never ever pull it out backwards or push it in from the back. It's not the right thing to do. Okay, we can then put the back end of the body back on. I can put my little capping piece off, and I can put my paint cup in, and I tend to leave my paint cup upside down so no dust collects in there, ready for next time. Quick connect back on, and I'm ready to go. Hope that was useful. That's how I do a quick clean of my airbrush. So there you go. There's a cleaning your airbrush quick tip. Thanks for looking in, stay safe, and I will see you soon.